Hello, everyone. On this podcast episode, I'm going to talk about atheism again and atheists. In my podcast episodes, my previous podcast episodes, I talked about atheism, and I talked about atheists. And every time I talk about atheists, right, I usually tend to make an episode where I talk about, I try to apologize for my words. Not because, I feel like I did anything wrong, but because I believe it is cruel to mock others. Because it is cruel to mock others, whenever I feel like, I'm doing something that's detrimental, I try to apologize. I try to tell the truth. And the truth is, although I talk about atheism and atheists, sometimes I use the word insane to describe atheists. The truth is, I don't believe atheists are insane. And that's a fact. I don't believe atheists are dumb, retarded, fools. I don't see them as dumber than everyone else. I don't see them as stupider than everyone else. I don't see them as more foolish than everyone else. I just don't. And it's a fact. It's the truth. This is why after I speak a few words about atheism, I always come back to let you guys know that I don't want to mislead you. Because I don't want to mislead you, I will tell you the truth. I don't believe atheists are stupider than everyone else. Although I use the phrase, we were born theists, they became atheists. We were born sane, they became insane. I use it to caution atheists that the path they're going towards isn't the logical path. It's not that because I believe they are insane, I just believe it is detrimental to be an atheist. To go towards a path where you ignore the truth about the world is detrimental. Believing this is a world of probability is detrimental to the human race and is detrimental to your mind. It is detrimental to your life. When you start believing this is a world of random chance, you start lying to yourself. You start deceiving yourself. Because we don't live in a world governed by random chance. We live in a world governed by logic. Random chance is not logical. That's why it's called random chance. Randomness makes no logical sense. That's why it is random. And this is in a world of random chance. This is a world governed by logic. There must be a logical answer. There must be a logical reason why everything in this world exists. There has to be. Science does not work off random chance. You can study, many science books, even physics, and they'll tell you, if you grab a ball, right? If you put a ball on a chain, right? And you move that ball to your face and let it go, the ball will come back and not hit your face every single time. Do you know what that tells you? Physics does not work off random chance. The reason why your car has a speedometer is because your car does not work off random chance. Your car can accurately tell how fast you're going every single time because the world does not work off random chance. There must be a logical reason why everything in this world exists. This is a world governed by logic. If you take a rock, right, and you throw it with the same amount of force towards a certain direction, every time you throw that rock with the same amount of force towards that direction, you will get the same results. The rock will land in the exact same place every single time. What does that tell you? It tells you this world isn't a world governed by random chance. If things in this world can be tested and repeated over and over again, it automatically means random chance is a lie. This is a world governed by order. That's why things can be tested and repeated over and over again. And the answer will always be the same. It doesn't change. Human beings do not breed by random chance. Human beings do not get hungry by random chance. Human beings do not get sick by random chance. When you run, you don't get tired and exhausted by random chance. When someone slaps you, the pain doesn't affect you by a random chance. The world doesn't work off random chance. It works off logic. Logic that can be tested and repeated over and over again. That's what science is. We live in a logical world, not a world governed by randomness. Randomness is illogical. This isn't a world of randomness. This is a world of logic. And logic implies intelligence. Because this world is logical, that's why humans are logical. Because this world is logical, that's why cells behave logically. Because this world is logical, that's why atoms behave logically. We can logically, determine how atoms behave. That's why we have the periodic table. The periodic table of elements shows you how every atom's, the chemical makeup of an atom and the function of an atom. Each atom has its own function, and these functions never change. They're static. They don't change. Random chance always changes. Probability always changes. If this is a world governed by probability, if this is a world governed by random chance, when you throw a rock towards the same direction using the same force, the place the rock will land will change randomly. It will go off probability. There'll be a chance the rock lands in the same place, and there's a chance the rock will land somewhere else. But when you throw a rock in real life, using the same force, it will land in the exact same place every single time. It doesn't change. If this was a world of probability, the results will always change every single time. But yet, it's the opposite, isn't it? Things behave logically. They don't change. The earth always revolves around the sun. It doesn't change. The way the earth revolves around the sun can be predicted. We can know exactly where the earth will be a year from now. We can know exactly where the earth will be 2 months from now. Scientists can know where the earth will be, the exact location where the earth will be 5 years from now. That's not a world governed by random chance. That's the world governed by logic. Because scientists can logically determine where an object will be in the future, where the earth will be in the future. We can logically determine where that position will be. We can logically determine where the sun will be 10 years from now in our galaxy, 100 years from now, even 1 billion years from now. We can determine exactly where the sun will be in our galaxy, the exact position. That isn't random chance, is it? That tells you this world is a logical world. And logic implies intelligence. Because humans are logical, that's why humans are intelligent. Because this world works logically, that's why this world is intelligent. The laws that govern this world work logically. That's why the minds of humans work logically. That's why humans work logically, because everything around us works logically. And logic implies intelligence. Because the world is intelligent, that's why humans are intelligent. You're living inside an intelligent being. You're living inside an intelligent world. And the world itself is God. God is intelligent. That's why humans are intelligent. God has consciousness. That's why humans have consciousness. God has a mind. That's why humans have a mind. The world around you is God. So when you start ignoring the facts just to believe that, this is in a world governed by God, that's when you start lying to yourself. This is why I keep, this is why I keep saying, this is why I keep cautioning atheists to stay away, this is why I keep cautioning people to stay away from atheism, because the world of atheism makes no logical sense. Yet our world is a world of logic, a world of intelligence. Things in our world makes logical sense. Things in our world make intelligent sense. Everything has a logical pattern. Everything in this world follows a logical pattern, an intelligent pattern. The world itself is intelligent. The world itself is God. Through God, all things exist. Through this world, all things exist. There's no difference between the world and God. That's why God is omnipresent. When you become omnipresent, you become the world itself. God is the world itself. Because God is intelligent, that's why humans are intelligent. So I say this, in many of my episodes, I caution atheists, I caution people to be very careful of the entire atheism movement, is because it doesn't make logical sense. It always ignores the fact that this is a logical world. This is an intelligent world. This world doesn't work off random chance, because the laws of physics do not behave randomly. Without the laws of physics, you will not be able to drive a car. Without the world being logical, there will be no point in a speedometer. Why? Because your speed will change. Given the same amount of force, given the same amount of energy, the speed you'll be moving will change every single time. But that's not how our world works. As long as you have the same amount of force, as long as you apply the same amount of force, the speed will always be the same. It doesn't change. We don't live in a world of probability. We live in a world of logic, a world of intelligence. There's no randomness to this world. You don't behave randomly. Your cells do not behave randomly. Your organs do not behave randomly. DNA does not function randomly. Everything in your body functions logically. Everything in your body functions in a way that our minds can understand. It functions logically. And everything in your body is the world itself. You are made up of the world itself. If you don't behave illogically, why do you assume the world behaves illogically? If your body does not function by random chance, why do you think the world functions by random chance? The thing that makes up your body are the same atoms that you find all over the world, yet you don't behave randomly. So why do you think the world behaves randomly? When you are the world, a human being cannot be separated from the world itself. A human being is the world itself. We are intelligent because the world itself is intelligent. We are logical because the world itself is logical. We are conscious because the world itself is conscious. We have minds because the world itself has its own mind. Our consciousness comes from the world. Our mind comes from the world. But I understand how someone can become an atheist. This world is filled with many religions. Some religions are lies. In this world, there are people who tell the truth and people who lie. There are people who are kind and people who are cruel. Because of that, It's hard for people to understand which religion to follow, because they don't know which religion is telling the truth. Many people are too busy with their lives to care about which religion is telling the truth. Because they don't care about which religion is telling the truth, they just become atheists. When an atheist, when they find an atheist online, tell them that this is an illogical world, nothing in this world makes random, logical sense. This world is a world that doesn't have any intelligence to it. This isn't a world that's governed by logic. They just accept it because they're too busy with their lives to truly care about the world. They're too busy with their lives to truly care about religion. So they're only atheists because there are too many liars out there. There are too many people to deceive them. There are other atheists out there deceiving them. There are other religions out there deceiving them. Because there are all these people deceiving them, they just give up and just choose one of the lies to believe. With so many lies out there, it's only natural that you fall for one of them. With so many scams out there, it is very easy to fall for a scam. Atheism is a scam. Although the atheists themselves may not be dumb, atheism itself is a scam. It removes the logic from the world. It removes the intelligence from the world. And this is a logical world. This is an intelligent world. You're living inside the body of God itself. What you call the world is God. And the world is intelligent. The world is omnipresent. The world is omnipotent. And the world is omniscient. Isn't that what God is? Omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. God and the world are exactly the same. You're living inside God. God is intelligent. That's why you are intelligent. God is logical. That's why you are logical. You're living inside a logical world. You're living inside a logical being. God is the logical being you're living inside. Everything can only exist through God. And that's what the Bible tells you. Through God, all things exist. Through God, all things are possible. And only through God. So, I caution you not to mock atheists. Many atheists are kind people. Many atheists are thoughtful people. Many atheists are virtuous people. Not all atheists are mean. Not all atheists are cruel. Not all atheists are violent. Not all Christians are mean. Not all Christians are cruel. Not all Christians are violent. Be kind to atheists, because some of them could be your friends. Be kind to people of your religion, because some of them could be your friends as well. This is a world governed by God, and God tells you, be kind to others. So although I say some things I don't mean to say, or although I say things, just to caution you about atheism, I don't truly believe atheists are evil people. I don't truly believe all atheists are insane. It's impossible. It's impossible for all atheists to be insane. If everybody is insane, nobody is insane. So be cautious, of stereotyping atheists as lunatics. They're not. So that's it for today's podcast episode. I pray for everyone's safety and understanding. Amen.